good evening. This is Liz Busquets, and happy Valentine's Day. And this is the February meeting of the ASCA board. The way that we do this for those who are listening for the first time is that we go through each item on the agenda. We go around to ask each director their opinion, comments, and then if there's a motion on the floor, then we go ahead and discuss and vote. Today, all directors are present. Cindy, Denise, Jean, Judy, Ken, Linda, Rachel, Rick, and myself, Liz. So the first item that we have on the agenda is last month's email business.
So Liz, this is Ken. I'll make a motion that we accept last month's email business.
This is Rachel. I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Ken, seconded by Rachel, to approve last month's email business. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, so the next item is the system liaisons report. Rachel?
Oh, that wasn't me, I hope. Anyway, the system liaisons report will consist of informing everyone on the board regarding the issue that occurred this past weekend with the website. Not sure if many people were aware of it. I wasn't until much later. It seems as if there was a power outage, and power outages that cause the office to have to reset the server quite often will result in a website portal going down, and that's exactly what happened. And once we addressed it with Allie, she was able to go in and reboot the portal herself to get it back up and running. And in the meanwhile, we reached out to Inventive because they were still lacking some information on how to access the website, and so that was completed, and all of this occurred on Sunday. And Allie had set up a meeting with one of the Inventive team members this week, and I have not heard back from her, and quite frankly, asked later today and did not hear back from her regarding their meeting. And with Ray, I know that Ray went and met with the Inventive team. They're up and running. They are ready to proceed with taking on the website coverage. And I also asked Ray today when I emailed him if he also would like to be trained on how to reboot the system. Have not heard back from him on that. But now that we have Inventive taking over our website management and support, that really should be unnecessary, other than it may be something that Ray would like to have the knowledge to be able to do if needed. So we'll wait to hear back from him on that. And Allie was on the same email. So hopefully, if he says yes, he would like to be trained on how to reboot, Allie can help him out on that. And that's all I have for today, because we really want to get Inventive going on our website support, and until they really dig into it, not much more to tell on that. Do I have any questions from anyone? Okay, that's all we have then. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rachel. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the LEP committee, and I was the one who asked to put it in here, and I'm going to explain why here in a minute. But just for members' benefit, let's just say that this is it's a question of, the policy book says that we have to reappoint, that we should be reappointing the committee every 2 years, and apparently this hasn't been quite followed. So let me read that part real quick. Policy book 9.3, LEP committee. The purpose of this committee is to view all applications for LEP registration and to determine eligibility requirements. 3 committee members shall be appointed by the board for 2-year terms. Committee members may reapply for membership. Members must have at least 10 years continuous ASCA membership and involvement in reading and competing in ASCA programs. At least 1 committee member will have trained or competed with Australian Shepherds in stock dog trials, and at least 1 committee member will be an ASCA breeder judge. So I put this here. There is a motion that has to do with this that Ken put forward and Rick seconded, but this is the motion is not the reason why I'm putting this in the agenda. I've added this topic because I basically would like a commitment from this board that we will be taking care of this in a timely manner. This is not so that, like I said, not necessarily to discuss the motion, but it is about the timing of the things that will have to be done if the motion passes. The way I read the motion, if it gets approved, the board will solicit applications for the committee, which is kind of what the rule pretty much implies. So the board will have to solicit applications from the membership, and the current members will have to resend their info and reapply. And they have already stated that they want to stay, so they will have to reapply. So my thing is, we'll have, once this voting is done in the cycle, we're gonna have kind of like a rather tight schedule if we want to get this done by the spring meeting. So I guess what I'm asking is that directors, once CALA makes the draft for, to notify the current members that they need to reapply, just a reminder, and then the call to the membership that we go ahead and approve that rather quickly within 1 or 2 days, so that she can put that out there. And if there's anybody who's going to apply and the current members are going to reapply, then they have the time to put their paperwork together and send it to us. And hopefully we can take care of it by the spring meeting. Okay. So if for some reason the motion doesn't get approved, we still need to ratify the committee. So I guess what I'm saying is, I really don't want this to get stuck in our docket. We need to do it. We need to address it. And so sometimes, our email communication hasn't been that great. So I just want us to be on the same, frame of mind and in agreement that we're going to take care of that. Because really, the LEP committee, of all the things that we're going to have to deal with in the next few months, the LEP committee is really one of our least worries because it's a committee that works very well. So, so I just want to put it out there. I want to get it done, and I'm just asking for their cooperation to, once the voting is done, get it done. So I'm just going to go around real quick in case somebody else has something to say, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, Cindy.
Nothing really to add. Just that CALA has already verified that the members who are willing to stay on.
Okay. All right, Denise.
So if the members have already stated that they would like to stay on, then I think we should proceed right away and keep things going. That's all.
Jean?
I agree with Denise.
Okay, Judy?
Same. I think we have the 3 members who want to be on it. We need to just get going with it.
Okay, Ken?
Well, sorry, Liz, but I'm still at a loss to understand what's going on here.
Well, like I said, my intention here. Yeah.
May I speak?
I'm sorry, I'm cutting out.
What I wanted to say is, I think what you're asking is for us to call the question and just to include, I think the whole purpose of this motion was just to ensure that this was put in our regular order of business. And I'm not quite sure how this diverted into something like this. I'm not sure. I don't get it. The only thing we need to do is, first of all, many of us didn't even know we had an LEP committee. So it was obvious then that this LEP committee was not listed anywhere where we were able to keep track of it, to reappoint it every 2 years, to follow through with the committee procedures, and to allow the membership to know that there was an LEP committee. So it was just really simple to just get it into the regular schedule of things for ASCA, is all I was trying to accomplish. So if you would like to call the question and vote on it today, since we already know that the serving members will continue to serve, all we have to do is just solicit resumes like we do for every committee appointment. We'll appoint them at the spring meeting as the rules require and move on from there. I'm not understanding the discussion.
Yes, Ken. My discussion was not to discuss the motion. Was just, the motion is on the voting cycle. So my feeling was that, once the motion goes through the voting cycle, I want this to move forward quickly because the schedule to the spring meeting is going to be tight. And so I want this to go fast. So Cal, will put together whatever call, to the membership to go ahead and, bring in resumes or whatever. And we have to approve that quickly and get it out to the membership. That was my intention. That's nothing.
Well, then why don't I just call the question? Why don't I just call the question so we can approve it right now?
I don't think you're allowed to do that once it's been put into the regular voting cycle.
Yeah, the motion is already there.
We have done that regularly. When we get together, we can actually take things at our meeting and especially since this is normal anyway, and the only reason it's done is so that we wouldn't forget to get it done. I think it's perfectly legitimate to do so.
Okay, so what you would like is to just put forward the motion now and vote on it now?
Yes, I would like to call the question.
Okay. Okay, so would you mind if I just finish going around before we get to that?
No, don't mind at all.
Okay, thank you, Ken. All right, Linda.
If we've got members that want to serve, then let them serve.
Rachel?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. The only thing my only suggestion about this is that this committee needs to have a board liaison the same as other committees, but maybe in this case, since it's kind of a standing committee, maybe the first or second vice president could be the liaison on an ongoing basis, just to ensure that this is not forgotten about again.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Rick?
I agree with Rachel. I believe if we're going to call the motion tonight, we probably need to go ahead and make a motion for that liaison as well.
Okay, so let's go ahead and deal with Ken's motion first.
Liz?
I'm sorry, yes?
This is Jean. I just want to say something. Rick, I actually wrote up a motion that made some changes to the LEP policy as a whole. So instead of just making a motion to appoint a liaison, and I sent it to Ken for his input this evening. So maybe we can just wait for Mark in the regular voting cycle for that motion, if that's okay.
I'll agree with that.
Oh, this is Rachel. I'm good with that. I just want to make sure that going forward we don't have this happen again and it falls through the cracks. So, yeah,
Right.
I'm good with waiting until March for that motion.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so now let's get to Ken's motion.
Liz, can I just say one thing?
Yes, sir.
I did receive Jean and Cindy's proposed motion to add a liaison position. I think we could perfectly well handle that right here and now. I mean, it's what we need to do, and we know we need to do it. So let's just do it. I see the copy as being completely fine, and go ahead and make the change after we do this one.
Well, there's more to the motion than just adding a liaison. There's some verbiage changes, and I think it would be best if the whole board was able to read all of that at their leisure. There's no emergency that I can see. So, you know, that way we can make sure that we have crafted it completely and totally, and we won't have to go back and change it. So,
good.
You know, there you go.
Yeah, I kind of, you know, I agree with that. Sometimes, you know, when we do motions like this, sometimes the wording gets a little iffy. And so I think it's better if we can really sit down and look at it and then go forward with it. So now we have Ken's motion. So Kara, can you read it for us? Do you have it somewhere?
Let me go look it up.
I have it here. Would you like me to read it?
Sure.
Okay. I move the ASCA Board of Directors plan to reappoint the LEP committee for another 2-year term at the spring board meeting. Ask the serving members of the LEP committee if they would like to continue working on the committee. Solicit resumes from the membership for consideration to serve on the LEP committee.
All right. So that was Ken's motion and is seconded by Rick. So any further discussion on the motion?
Liz, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Cindy. How is this motion any different than what we already have in the policy book and what we're, I mean, it's sort of telling us to follow our rules that we already have. So is this just a momentum and not a placement motion? If that makes,
I don't know what you mean by that.
It's just telling us to follow our own rules. No new
Because
rules.
we haven't been following our own rules.
Okay, do you guys want me to go around? Would that make it easier? So Cindy, your point is you feel that the motion is just telling us to follow our own rules.
Yeah, kind of redundant.
Okay.
We saw
Denise?
a problem. We're fixing it.
Okay. Denise?
Well, it is rather confusing, but I do think that we already have a policy in place for that it's just been set aside for a while. So I would agree with what Cindy was doing, is just to follow our own rules.
Okay. Jean?
It seems unnecessary because we've identified the problem. We have our solution. We're following through on that solution. And we also have a motion that's going to hopefully fix the policy coming up in March. So this motion seems unnecessary for me.
Okay. Judy?
If this motion is not changing the actual wording or verbiage of the policy book, then there's no reason for it.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you, Ken, but let me go ahead with Linda.
I agree with those that say it's kind of redundant to tell us to follow our own rules. We should be doing that anyway.
Rachel?
quite frankly, until this motion arose to remind us to follow our own policy, we weren't doing it. And so from that standpoint, and since the motion really doesn't change anything, it just reminds us, hey guys, you need to follow your policy. I'm okay with the motion.
Okay, Rick?
I'm okay with the motion. I second the motion. If it does no more than get the LEP committee in the rotation of all the other committees, all the committee reports, we could also give a LEP report for the year at Nationals as well, and I don't believe we've ever done that. So if it does nothing but get the LEP committee added with everything else, I'm good with it.
Okay, back to you, Ken, if you have anything else.
I perfectly well agree that this is a redundancy, but it was a required redundancy. As Rachel stated, that nothing was happening until the motion was made. And I'm looking at the clock. 3 minutes ago, we could have moved on to a whole nother topic instead of going around discussing whether or not it was legitimate to make this motion. It was because we weren't taking care of business and we just needed a reminder to follow our rules. And this was the easiest, simplest, and the most assured way to make sure that we got this bit of business taken care of. So if we could please, I don't know what the alternative is. Can we just vote on it, vote it down if you don't like it? But
I think that the only reason why I went around because it seemed like people wanted to say something, but I think basically the motion is on the floor and we will vote on it. So if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Who's?
Aye.
Okay.
Oh, Cindy.
Okay. So Cindy, Jean opposed.
Jean.
And Linda.
And Judy.
And Linda.
I don't think you
And
heard me.
Judy. Okay. So and no abstentions, I take it. I think motion carries if my math is correct, right?
I have it 5-4.
Okay, so motion carries. We will get this done. Carla, if you could please have something for us that we can approve that can go out, that'll be great. And we can take care of this. Hopefully, we'll have the paperwork from the current members and whatever so that we can take care of this at the spring meeting. Thank you guys for your cooperation. And then let's go ahead and go to our final topic, which is the ASCA, the 2018 ASCA Finals Financial Report. And that's by Rachel.
Actually, Laura had sent an email that accompanied this to let us know that the consortium, even with all the expenses that they had, and all the people they paid to do all the numerous jobs, still cleared about $37,000. And she wanted to do that as a reminder to remind the members in this board that most consortiums and/or host clubs clear somewhere in the range between $20,000 and $50,000 for each nationals and finals that are hosted. And so, once again, Laura wanted to remind us that this is money that could be coming to ASCA if we choose to have ASCA take over the hosting of nationals and finals. And anyway, so that was her accompanying document. I should have added that, but I did not. And so her final financial report from finals. Actually, I'll read the motion. A motion to approve the 2018 Consortium Finals Financial Report as per the attached report, which was provided by 2018 Consortium Chair Laura Gibson. The report details that the 2018 Consortium will be returning $3,987 to ASCA as a result of the replacement sheet price being lower than the original budgeted sheet price. Upon a board vote to approve this motion, the consortium will send a check to reimburse ASCA. So that's the motion, and you guys have had an opportunity to read it. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Rachel on this report?
Tell Laura thank you.
Oh yeah. Well, that was her way of ensuring that clubs see that actually there are times when ASCA can be reimbursed, if the budgeted price is over what the actuals come out to be. So I appreciate that too.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor that Rachel had already made. And
I would second this is Denise. I think it's a very complete register of the finances that consortium undertook during the national.
And so, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. So this was the final item on our agenda. We will now dismiss the meeting. And I hope that everybody has a great night.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Night.